Welcome to today's program. I'm Milton Lawrence, and with me is Dr. Wendy Walsh. Our topic on today's program is the potential health risk individuals and families who have served, worked, or lived on Marine Base Camp Lejeune or Marine Corps Air Station New River in North Carolina. Scientific and medical evidence indicate you may have had contact with toxic contaminants in the drinking water that can cause serious forms of cancer, and you may be entitled to significant compensation. All of these cancers have been linked to contaminated water on these bases from August 1953 to December 1987. What were these toxic chemicals and how did the contamination actually happen?
Well, specifically, the Tarawa Terrace treatment plant was contaminated with PCE, and these are chemicals used as dry cleaning agents. It was determined that the water for this treatment plant had been contaminated for a total of 346 months by a nearby off-base dry cleaning company. The frightening part is that the EPA maximum containment level for this organic compound is 5 parts per billion in drinking water, while the maximum level of contamination at Tarawa Terrace was 215 parts per billion. Now, the other treatment plant, Had Not Point, was contaminated with TCE, a chemical used for metal cleaning. As to the source of the contamination from this treatment plant, it appears that there were multiple sources of contamination, including storage tank leaks, industrial spills, and inappropriate water disposal practices. As to the contamination level, the current EPA approval for TCE in drinking water is also 5 parts per billion. But at its highest point, the contamination at Had Not Point was measured at 1,400 parts per billion. Between the Tarawa and the Had Not treatment plants, the people on these bases were exposed to over 3,000 times the safe exposure limits of toxic chemicals.
What type of law firm should they be considering?
Well, Milton, this is the most important thing, because the elements that are required for this type of representation start with the fact that the firm has to have experience in similar illness and injury cases, and they've got to have examples and results to show potential clients. Also, since these claims are medically based, it's important to know that the firm not only has medical expertise in this area, but also has the financial resources needed to carry these cases to a successful conclusion given their complexity.
What's the actual cost for this type of representation?
Well, this is the best news, and it is the most important thing that we are ever going to say here today. For the law firms we represent here, there is no upfront cost. These cases are taken on what's called a contingency basis. That means no cost to the client unless a settlement or verdict is reached.
Now, Dr. Walsh, the information you've provided today will be so helpful to any of our viewers who have suffered injury or illness from contamination in their drinking water while stationed at a military base.
Thanks, Milton. It's always my pleasure to be here.
If you or a loved one lived or worked at Camp Lejeune or Marine Corps Air Station New River between August 1953 and December 1987 and have been diagnosed with adult leukemia, aplastic anemia, and other syndromes, you may have a claim for significant financial damages from the United States government. Call the number on your screen now for more information and a free case review. Thanks for watching.
This is an important message for Marines and their families. The Camp Lejeune Justice Act has just passed. This allows anyone who lived or worked at Marine Corps Base Camp Lejeune in North Carolina between 1953 and 1987 for at least 30 days and who was exposed to contaminated water to file a claim against the U.S. government. Serious illnesses include cancer, kidney cancer, multiple myeloma, and various leukemias. Scientific and medical evidence indicates that these illnesses may have been the result of contact with toxic contaminants in the base's drinking water. With this legislation, poisoned family members, caretakers, civilians, and veterans who lived and worked at Camp Lejeune can seek reparations outside of the VA. Payments will be paid out through the Treasury Judgment Fund. If you or a loved one were stationed, lived, or worked at Marine Corps Base Camp Lejeune in North Carolina between August 1953 and December 1987 for at least 30 days and have been diagnosed with cancer or another serious illness, you may be entitled to significant compensation. Call for a free case review